Alright, here we go. Pattern-collections.com is where we're going to find the next pattern focus. Scrolling down to here. I need to put my phone on quiet here. Okay. Back to where I was. Okay. This one is called Singala. It's really interesting. I played with this one yesterday at church, and I really found it to be quite, you don't have to do it in a triangle. You can do it in other shapes as well. So I found it very interesting. Ugh. The sun is coming in the window from a funky angle. Okay, so the first thing we do is this sort of archy shape. And then the second thing is to come kind of with a swoop over this way and make sort of a triangle, but you're going to come up, but instead of connecting here, you're going to come down in again and then swoop here and then back around. So basically you're making sort of a triangular-ish spiral. It's really all it is. And then in the sample, they show that triangular spiral here. Let's see. Here. Starts here. No, that's the outside. Starts here. This one, it comes up here and it goes around like that. And then they've done one on the outside to kind of fill it in. And then in the corners, they've used some rounding and some weight, filling it in to make it look weighty, right, like that. So they've made this sort of butterfly shape. But I played with it with other shapes, and it works just as well with other shapes. I just had so much fun with this pattern. So I'm going to do kind of similar to what I did yesterday at church. And, yeah, turn on my light. I think maybe I'm going to do a little more freeform than I did at church. The one I did at church, I started with like a spiral pattern, and then I put shapes inside of it. I don't think I'm going to do that again here. I'm going to do it something different. Okay. Move my camera. I don't know what happens when my camera moves out of its space, but okay. I'm going to get some more light over here. I've moved my light and my camera. Try to get things a little bit better for me, but who knows. Okay, so you know what? I think this one I'm going to just kind of do free form. I am going to give myself a border so I don't get too close to the edge of my tile. Because, you know, I don't like to be next to the edge of the tile. And then I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to try to create a butterfly shape like they did. I'm just going to kind of fill in spaces. So I'm going to just kind of, let's start here with that kind of archy swoop. And kind of a, like that. I got a little bit carried away there with that point, but that's all right. And then let's fill in another one here. I'm gonna go this way. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go all the way up to here to the corner. Okay. And then I'm going to go here. I'm just filling this space. I'm being really organic with my shape. Maybe here. This would be a really good filler in a pattern. So it's basically a spiral. It's just more of a triangular spiral. But see, I didn't end up with a triangle there. Kind of have a little bit of a square edge. That's okay. There we go. That really is all there is to this pattern. It's really simple. I really like the movement I can get from it. And like I haven't planned anything really out. And then I'm just going to go back in here and I'm just going to do that weighting. I like the look of that. Where I'm going to just kind of make a little curve and fill it in like so. I don't know if you can see that. I can get a little closer. So I'm just going to do that. I noticed my hand's a little shaky today. I don't know why, but you know, it happens. Not going to worry about it. Just do the best I can. Okay. So, just playing with where I want to put that weight. Kind of, some of these don't really have some distinct corners, but, and then when I played with this yesterday, I made like a little heavy one at the end. Oops, I missed a corner. There we go. See how that looks so different from this? And I haven't done a whole lot to it. All I did was go in there and fill in those corners. And I really like that look. So I'm just going to continue doing that. And I'm going to answer some questions while I do this. And if you guys want to fast forward to the end, you can. Next question on my list of questions. Are you considering creating a celebration pattern to mark your achievement of 15,000 subscribers? The answer to that is no. I haven't actually created very many patterns. Especially lately. There's just been so many people who are very creative with doing the step outs and creating their own patterns that unless one just kind of comes to me, I really don't feel the need to do so. But you never know. The answer right now is no. And that 15,000 subscriber is coming very slowly. I kind of expected it to go faster. Not that I really am counting subscribers particularly, but you know, I was so close and now it's just kind of stalled. That's okay, whatever. Because I don't do this for subscribers. I mean, and it's nice that you guys are out there, but if there was only just one person that wanted me to continue, I would totally do it. Mostly do this for myself, and you guys just kind of are along for the ride. But I can't say never. That I wouldn't ever think of creating a pattern. But I right now don't have a plan for that. I've got a lot of art fires in the pot right now, and I'm just not in the pattern creating mood. right now, as I'm recording this, you will see this in October, but as I'm recording this, it's the end of September. I'm still working on my 29 Faces challenge that I will show you eventually. You may or may not have seen it by now. I don't know. I may not be ready. Let's see, this video is going to go up on October 3rd. I might not be completely finished. I'm going to try to be finished, but I'm having a hard time drawing one face a day. So I'm drawing like 2 every other day or every 3rd day. I'm a little behind. I still have like 15 of them to do. And I was trying to do my faces based on my favorite YouTube channel people, mostly the artists. And I must say, there are several who are just like me, and they don't have their picture out there in the world. All you get is hands. So a couple of them I was able to track down one picture, but for the most part, you know, there's a lot of us who choose not to put our faces on our videos. So I may have to start doing other faces. Not necessarily, or maybe there were a couple of them that I was not particularly, I mean, the face is fine, it's a fine face, but to me it doesn't look like the person that I was trying to do. And I can look at it and say, well, you know, the face should have been taller, should have been thinner. I got the nose right, but the eyes are wrong, or whatever. And I'm thinking maybe I will revisit those people, the ones that I'm not overly happy with, and just do them again. And maybe that's the way I can finish off that particular 29 Faces challenge. I think this is so pretty. Just in and of itself, just, it doesn't need a lot to make it just kind of stand out on its own. I love this. This is making me happy. And like I said, I played with this yesterday at church, and I just was able to just chill out and fill in these little corners and not think really hard about a pattern. I could really listen to what was going on around me. Yesterday was the first day I'd gone back to church since my toe accident. Since before my toe accident, because I realized that the couple of Sundays before my accident I had to work, and so I hadn't been able to go to church. So it's been almost 2 months since I'd been at church. So it was nice to see certain people. They made me happy with how happy they were to see me. I felt really loved by those people. Some others not so much. You know, it happens in every church that I was just kind of hoping it wouldn't happen in mine, but you know, whatever. Sometimes you just gotta let things roll off your back, right? And think about the positive. I'm gonna think about the people who embraced me, said that they were so glad I was back, and I can just not dwell on those who just chose to ignore that I was even there. Oh well. And maybe they weren't ignoring me on purpose. Maybe they just had other things on their mind. I know that there was one who didn't embrace me as I expected. And maybe that's my fault, that I expected certain behaviors from people, and you know, that's not how they behaved, and so I was disappointed. But you know, there was one lady who I really I thought she would behave more like herself, and it kind of hurt me. And then I found out later that a relative of hers had been in a terrible accident Saturday night. So Sunday morning she was upset about her own things, and you know, it wasn't about me. So I need to take that and remember that when things don't go the way I'm expecting, that it's not necessarily about me. Everybody's got their own stuff, and I can't expect their stuff to go away just because I want them to react to me in a certain way. That's selfish of me. So I kind of came to that realization this morning. So I'm going to just embrace those who embraced me, and reach out to those who are hurting, and you know, those who don't seem to care whether they're friends with me or not, that's fine. We can have a cordial relationship. We don't have to be friends, and we don't have to do more than just nod and smile on a Sunday morning. That's okay. I should do another question. Do I have time to do another question? Maybe. We'll see. One more question. Okay. Of all the different tangles out there, what is your very favorite tangle? And is there a tangle that you just can't do no matter how many times you try? I have some go-to tangles that I can add to just about anything. Tipple is one of those, which is just little orbs, right? But to me, a go-to tangle is different than my favorite tangle. I think my favorite tangle to actually draw when I'm doing a whole pattern is Paradox or Cadent. Those two are my favorites. I don't know if they are my favorites because they were one of the first that I learned that were more complicated patterns rather than just simple like the tipple, or like, you know, my filler patterns, ripped screen or printemps, or any of those. Because I've done that paradox, I didn't call it, I don't know if anybody had a name for it, or if it was, you know, the name conventions is just what people put on these patterns just to make them easier to find in a database. But the pattern paradox has been around for centuries, right? That whole spiraling shapes that come out of just straight lines. I remember doing that kind of patterning in the 70s in art class, when we would work with pen and ink drawings and doing graphic black and white. We did a lot of checkerboard type patterns back then, and we did that paradox pattern or similar. So but I think that one's one of my favorites to draw, and Cadent is one of my favorites to show people. And the reason for that is that it looks like a really hard pattern to do. Paradox can be tricky. You have to really pay attention to what you're doing with paradox, and you have to, some people don't get it. They can't ever get it. Cadent is one of those ones that's easy for people to remember, and it's easy to show somebody, and it just kind of comes together and it magically just sort of appears, and I love that. Look how pretty that is. It's just got a lovely movement to it with those triangles, and I'm just going to leave it just like that. I'm not going to even try to shade. I think I'm going to erase my guidelines on my edges, and I'm going to leave it just like that. It looks very tribal. I really like that. Okay. I need the name of this one. My phone's turned itself off. Singala. Singala. All right, there we go. There is today's pattern. I like it. Okay. Yeah. Is it asking for shading? I didn't think it wanted shading, and now it's like, I want to see something just real quick. What does it look like if I do that and this? My triangle. No, I don't like that. Okay. That's the nice thing about shading, is if you do some shading you don't like, an eraser is your friend. I like the kneaded eraser. You don't have to use a kneaded eraser. I just particularly like it because it doesn't leave crumbly bits behind. But you also can't erase really dark lines with it. You need a better eraser for that. Okay, I think I'm done. You guys have a really great day. I will see you tomorrow. We will tackle another pattern, and yeah, go out and do something nice for someone today. And remember that if people don't act the way you expect them to act, they've got their own stuff going on. And maybe that's the time to reach out to them and in compassion and say, you know, is there anything I can help you with today or do for you? Because especially if it's somebody you know and they're not behaving the way they normally behave, but they're not telling you that there's something wrong, there's probably something wrong. And just, you know, reach out to them and ask them if they're okay and if you can help them. All right, you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.